No, move your camera up.
Move your camera up. We can't take you anywhere, man. Come on.
Yeah, we could only.
It's a very temperamental wonky camera, so you have to excuse it. There you go.
That's all right. There we go. I can see now.
Hello.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Yes, how are you, Tim?
I'm not bad, Matt. Yourself?
Yes, looking forward to the next set.
All right. Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. Yeah.
We've done a podcast, Matt.
As a Damascus.
Oh dear.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our small little panel here. We've gathered tonight to have a small talk with actor Tim Treloar, star of stage, screen, and also Big Finish Audio in the Third Doctor Adventures. Okay, how you doing, Tim?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Oh, hanging in there, having a good old time.
Good, good. Especially with that hat on.
Oh, well, I figured I better put a hat on. I don't want everyone being hypnotized by the glare coming off my dome.
Well, I was going to ask, where's your horse?
Oh.
Another hat.
Okay, let's get into it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and ask everybody, to quickly introduce yourself. It's like say who you are, where you're from, whatnot. Okay, let's start with Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt from Coventry, and Tim knows me. Hello.
Hello, Matt.
Okay, Graham.
And how we doing, folks? I'm Graham from Glasgow, and Matt's still looking for showmanship. Good to see you.
Hi, Graham. Hiya.
And Philip.
Hello, Tim. I'm Phil from good old London, and good to see you.
Good to see you too, Phil.
And Elijah.
Hello, Tim. I'm Elijah from Minnesota here in the USA.
Hello there. Hi, Elijah.
And everyone hopefully knows me. I'm from Lima, Ohio.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot happens here. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's start with you. I know each of you have questions you want to ask Tim. So, okay, we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to screw up the order here a little bit. Let's start with Philip. Go ahead.
Well, just start with me. I'm going to start with a question from one of our friends, William, from New York. And his question to you, Tim, is, do you have any input on the stories or give suggestions in regards to the Third Doctor and all that?
No, I don't have any input on the stories. The stories are given to me. But sometimes I will ask for lines to be altered. Actually, that's usually with Katie's approval as well, if they don't sound quite Pertwee-ish, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're put in, very occasionally someone will write something and it's a bit too modern, in terms of modern sort of terminology. And we'll go, well, that's not 1972,
Mm-hmm.
So that's it really. I mean, these stories are presented to me.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
No, that was it. I'll say thank you.
That was about it.
Yes.
Let's move on to Elijah. Go ahead, Elijah.
My question for you is, was acting always something you wanted to do, or was there another profession you would like to try, I guess?
Well, what happened, I was doing amateur dramatics from the age of about 14. So I got into it that way, really. Actually, weirdly, when I did my A-levels, I was 18, I was going to join the police. But I didn't in the end. And I was going to go to drama school at 18, and my parents luckily talked me out of it because I think, I was a bit too young, I think. So, but I always did amateur dramatics, and eventually, in my late 20s, I chucked it all in and went to drama school. Does that answer the question?
You're muted, Brian.
Oh, he's sneezing away.
My bad. Oops. Okay, Graham, go ahead.
Thanks, mate. Just one for you, Tim. You mentioned last time you were talking with Brian last year, you were over in the States and you done, was it King Lear?
Yes.
With Frank Mantella.
Right.
And I believe you also worked with Patrick Stewart. Now, in your opinion, is that the most high calibre of actor you've ever worked with? And if that's not been the case, who would you like to work with down the road?
Yeah, those two. I've worked with Angelina Jolie quite briefly. Let's have a think. Helena Bonham Carter, David Tennant. I've worked with.
Oh, there you go.
I worked with him on stage in Romeo and Juliet, the RSC, several years ago. It's a difficult question actually because there are some actors I love Pacino and De Niro, and there's so many actors I love. But usually when you're you're acting with someone, you forget their star status.
Yeah.
After a day, the first minute you go, oh my God, it's him. But then they become a colleague because they talk to you just as any other actors do. So you forget their status and their profile, once you start working with them.
Excellent. Regular Joe, let's get on with it. Superb.
Yeah.
Okay, and Matt, go ahead.
Hello, Tim. Right, your Big Finish Association began, as far as I was aware of, back in Destination Nerva for the Fourth Doctor Adventures. How were you aware of the company? Did your agent tell you about it first, or did you hear through it from mutual friends before you got the job?
I was at a party somewhere, and I bumped into John Dorney, who was a couple of years above me in drama school, and he was telling me that he was working with Big Finish, and I had done quite a lot of radio for the BBC, and he said, oh, we must get you in. And after about 6 months, they got in touch, and it was for Destination Nerva. So that's how that started, which was quite fortunate, really.
Okay, let's start with Elijah this time around. Go ahead.
So this will be kind of a two-part question. Now, I don't know if you've watched this Channel 4 TV show, but have you heard of a TV show called Toast of London?
Yes, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and my second part to that question is, would you
the best bit, by the way, is when he shoots the dog. That's hilarious. I love that. I am an animal lover, by the way. I am an animal lover. But go on.
Would you like to ever show up as a guest role on that show, and what would you like to do if you were on the show?
Oh, God, yeah, I'd love to be on that. I'd do anything to be in that. It's so funny. He's hilarious. It's brilliant. And it's very accurate, actually. There's a lot of sort of in-actor jokes there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's great. I'd love to have a part in that.
Okay. Next up, Matt.
Oh, hello. Right, Light at the End was the first time you took on the role of the Third Doctor before the whole box sets and short trips started. How were you feeling when you got told you'd be taking on an iconic role that was portrayed by John Pertwee?
Well, initially with the Light at the End, I didn't really, because it was a couple of lines, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah.
So I didn't really think that it was going to lead anywhere else, But then obviously once they asked me to do the Third Doctor, the actual box sets, that was a little bit mind-blowing. That was quite frightening, to be honest.
Okay. Next up, Graham.
Basically, Tim, obviously you had the first two stories released last year, Prisoners of the Lake and The Havoc of Empires. Obviously you get the initial feedback for your bosses at Big Finish, and then you get the official critical reviews, but have you done any feedback themselves in terms of fans for your social media and all that to see how you got on?
Have I, the last bit, what did you say?
I said, have you done any individual feedback with regards to yourself in terms of how you got on in the role from fans via social media?
I've seen stuff on Twitter,
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And it's been, really heartening, and really, I feel quite humbled by it. I've had, they always say if you're an actor, never sort of look for yourself on Google, never sort of look at the forums, because you're bound to you're going to want to have a few drinks and start typing stuff back and say, come on, do you want some? But you see, the best thing to do is try and avoid forums if you can, because there's always going to be someone who's not going to like what you do.
Oh, definitely.
So, and it tends to be one criticism can outweigh 100 sort of positives,
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they don't know you, and then you start to get a bit leery then. But
Welcome.
But sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, you're fine, Bound. You go. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next up, Philip.
Okay, twofold question. First one is, obviously you're in the ranks of people like John Treloar, yourself, and what's your name, Don Colshaw. Have you ever had sort of like rivalry trying to outdo each other in impersonations ever at all? Have you ever crossed each other paths?
No. God. Because the thing is, you can't do it if you did an impersonation, you'd lose the acting. You can't do an impersonation because you can't. If you try and replicate someone's voice exactly, you're not going to be able to act it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So basically, it's trying to hint as much as you can with the voice, you know, the speech mannerisms or whatever. And that's why I think they probably did the narrator thing the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be pleased to know there's no narration this time.
I was fine with the narration. I was happy with it being there. But now that you've got it taken out, it'll make it more of a real danger. So yeah. It's a good
but I think if you impersonate, I mean, for all I know, they probably Big Finish have asked someone like John Coulter to do various voices or whatever. Maybe they've thought about that, but you do lose the acting then.
Mm-hmm. And the second part of that question was, what's the hardest voice thing you've done? Who's the hardest voice that you tried to muster that you can't get right?
I haven't done any impersonations, to be honest. It's only John Pertwee that Richard Burton I did once on radio. Mm-hmm. Where someone who was meant to be Richard Burton, not exactly Richard Burton, it was someone who was meant to sound like Richard Burton. So, but that's it. I've never done any impressions. I mean, I'm not very good at it.
That's all right. So John Pertwee is your main kind of gig, so to speak.
Yeah, in terms of for Big Finish, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, let's get back to Elijah.
Are there any actors that you would like to work with, and what kind of stuff would you like to do with that actor?
I'd like to just work, to be honest. When you're an actor, you just want to work, because work is quite hard to come by, especially with the amount of actors in the industry now, and especially, you know, the amount of people who come from other industries like models or whatever, or sportsmen who are now going into acting. It becomes hard. So really, you don't base jobs on who you're going to be working with, unless it's someone you've got a personal grudge with, you know, someone you've had a row with before. But you base it on the part, really. And maybe if you're having a nice little trip to New York or somewhere like that, you know, that always helps. But yeah, I mean, well, there's so many actors. I mean, I couldn't really single out actors I'd like to work with, because as an actor, you don't really sort of think like that. You admire, you know, certain actors, and when you hear, oh, da-da-da's in it, you go, oh, blimey, oh my God, that's brilliant. You know, it's going to be great to watch him and learn from him or her. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, yeah, it does.
Okay, back to Matt.
Hello. Now, you've worked with various numbers of doctors before you became yourself one, such as Tom, Sylvester, Peter Davison. How did it also feel to be becoming this iconic character with such praises from Katie Manning and Tom Baker, who said you sounded like John?
Yeah, it was a bit surprising, actually. I'm very shocked, but it feels a great privilege to be doing it, you know, to be with such iconic figures. But obviously I'm well aware that it's not John Pertwee, you know, it's me doing his voice, or, you know, trying to do his voice. So really I feel, you know, I'm not sort of like, I've never looked at myself, oh, I'm now one of the doctors, because I'm not. You know, I'm playing John Pertwee's doctor, almost, but trying to put my own little thing on it, if you see what I mean. Mm-hmm. But it's been great, because I was thinking the other day, I've got a connection with pretty much every single doctor, because even though, especially all the alive ones, obviously I've worked with, and with David Tennant I've worked with on stage. I know I've worked with Patrick Troughton's son, and my first agent was William Hartnell's daughter. So yeah, it's weird how I've had this connection with all the doctors almost.
Okay, Graham, you next.
Tim, you mentioned that with these upcoming sets, obviously the narration's been dropped, and you also mentioned last year that when you were approaching the role, it was a case of getting the nuances and stuff together just to try and emulate the voice as best you could. Now that they've dropped the narration and you've got a larger role in the whole pure drama aspect of it, did you have to approach these recordings any differently?
Do you have to approach what?
The recordings any differently?
Yeah, yes. It was actually more scarier doing it this time because with the narration, you can use that as a sort of a guide for the audience to go, oh, this is the narrator speaking now as the doctor. But this time I was on my own as the doctor. And it was actually, with playing it, when you get into the studio, you've not got John's sort of voice, you've not got it. It takes a while to get right into it. So it can take about an hour or 2 hours sometimes to get the voice right. So I'm always listening to his voice on tape, on my phone. But the first few scenes are quite hairy because you're getting angry with yourself because you're not getting the right, you know, the right thing, the right nuance or the right list, you know. But yeah, it was different. It was probably easier in some ways though that I didn't have to think about the narration, you know.
Fair enough, mate. Thanks.
Okay, back to you, Philip.
Okay, like now, considering you're doing these box sets now, do you that you could have some sort of do you ever want to pen an adventure for the third Doctor that can be played out in a novel sense or even in a book sense? Have you ever thought about writing for the third Doctor?
Writing for the third Doctor? No, I haven't really. I wouldn't dare to do that at the minute. It's far too early. I mean, I have written stuff before, but nothing that's been sort of I've not put out there or anything.
No,
but maybe that's an idea. Yeah, maybe
because you kind of know the ins and outs of the third Doctor vocally, but saying you know how he is, you know, personified.
Yeah.
Then you know, I know how to write for this Doctor, and you can write a short story or something like that.
Well, I said earlier, sometimes when the lines are given, I'll sometimes go and say, actually, that doesn't sound right. But I wouldn't sort of presume yet to sort of write a third Doctor thing. I think that would be like sing the theme tune, make the theme, you know, that would be someone played by, written by, directed by Tim. You know, it's too early days really to think of that. But as I say, I do have sometimes with the lines. I'll say to Nick Briggs over the cans. I'll say, you know, this line doesn't sound right. It just sounds too modern or not third Doctorish enough. You know?
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's start with Matt. Go ahead.
All right. Now, this has been the big thing on social media about recasting like Roger Delgado as the Master for the Third Doctor Adventures. Are you really open to taking on in that era the Master because he's such an iconic character, and would you be open to like battling him?
I'd love to. Yeah, definitely. I'd take him and all. Yeah, no, I'd love to. Yeah, something like that would be interesting. Or the Daleks would be great because I remember, you know, the Daleks were a nightmare from my youth. That I probably still carry with me. So I'd love to have a challenge with the Master or the Daleks or the Cybermen or anything. The good thing with Big Finish is that you can sort of step outside the themes from each Doctor. So the Doctors don't necessarily have to battle the baddies from their own generation. They can battle, you know. So, for instance, if they had William Hartnell could fight the Cybermen or something like that, you know, because they can sort of do it outside TV aspect. You know?
Okay, let's go for Elijah.
How long does a Big Finish recording actually take? Because I know it must take a lot of work to get that all together. How long does the actual recording take?
Each episode is 2 days. It's 2 days in the studio. Starts about 10, finish about 5. Nice lunch. A lot of fun in the studio, and we're always cracking up sort of at certain things and sort of swearing and, you know, adding swear words into the lines and things like that. Just as a joke, you know. Especially when you're doing a read through of it. And basically what happens, you go in and each scene you'll read through it once, but they'll record the reading, and then you'll record it probably twice, and then Nick will ask for pickups. Nick will say, you know, can you do that line again? Can you do this phrase again? Things like that, you know. But it's done in 2 days, each episode.
Okay, back to you, Philip.
Sorry, I got myself in mute. Okay, besides Doctor Who, what have you got lined up beyond Doctor Who in your own sphere of work at this present moment in time?
I've just done some TV work for a new cop show that's coming out, and basically I'm doing some work next week, some bit of sort of corporate-based work next week, and then just that's it at the moment. That's the actor's life, I'm afraid. So I just hope the weather's going to be nice. But yeah, it's just a waiting game. Basically, your agent rings and goes, "All right, you've got a meeting for this, a meeting for that," and then you select what ones you're interested in doing.
Okay, so can we clarify that the box sets you've done the first one? Is the second one completed now and just waiting for release and things like that?
Yeah, the second one's completed. Yeah, we recorded the first episode on the beginning of June, and then the second one about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it'll be, it's got to go through editing and everything else that they do, and not sound effects and packaging and everything like that. So I don't know when. I'm not sure. I think it might be November. I think I'm not sure. The first.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's November.
Yeah.
Is there a third one in the works, or are you not allowed to say?
The third one's
maybe. Yeah. I think I'm alright to say yeah. There is, yeah.
And they've actually, sorry to interrupt, they've actually announced that. There's no spoiler.
Oh, they've announced it, are they? Oh, great. Okay. You can see how much I'm on social media nowadays. So that's okay. Yes, there is the third one, yeah. But I think they're still writing some of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All I know is I gained a whole new respect for those guys because I've been doing my own little amateur audio production, and it's like I do not know how these guys do it. It just boggles my mind because just for me to do a small little 10-minuter can take me a couple of weeks, and then it's just crazy. All right, but let's get back to Graham. Go ahead.
Okay. Just a quick one for you, Tim, and feel free not to answer this if it might be a wee bit tad too personal, but obviously I bat the odd tweet back and forth to yourself, whether it be just general everyday stuff or how the Dragons are doing in the Euros.
Oh, yes. Come on.
Obviously, a few months back you were in Australia for, what was it, 3 months? Was that professional?
Yes, it was. Well, I was there for 2 months, actually. I did a play in Sydney for 5 weeks.
Okay.
King Charles III, it was called, with Robert Powell. Don't know if you remember Robert Powell. He played Jesus Christ in the 70s. He was a big star. He was in, he's a big telly name. I did that, and then I went and had a week up on the Great Barrier Reef for holiday, and then I went driving around New Zealand for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So that was, it was a buzz.
Nice.
Yeah. They're great when jobs come jobs come along like that. It's fantastic.
Excellent. Champion, mate.
Cheers.
Okay, let's start with Elijah. Go ahead.
Besides doing your acting work, when you have some free time, what do you enjoy to do? Like, what do you do during your free time?
I drink too much.
Okay.
I go to the gym. I haven't been for a week or so. I need to go. I go to the gym a bit. I read a lot. Watch football. God, now you've caught me now. I'm not going to give away how boring I am. I usually sort of just moan about the world and stuff, and then drink too much, and all that sort of stuff. Normal bloke stuff, really. It's, what happens when you get middle age. You just start to, how rubbish the world is. And everything annoys you.
I'll quite happily go with the drinking, but the gym kind of defies the purpose for me.
Well, I go to the gym to keep the weight off. That's the only reason I go to the gym. Is post drinking, just to go right. I better take it down again.
I'm quite happy Albert bending. I'm fine. I'm
frozen here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, we still hear you.
Yeah, we're still here.
Oh, we got you again. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on your wireless and whatnot.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, let's go back to Matt.
Right. Besides being the Doctor, you also seem to be a Disney actor. You worked on the film Maleficent. How did that come about?
That was from my agent. Rang up. I said, "Do you want to go up for this?" I went, "Yeah." Meeting and did it. Yeah. I'm not in it much. I mean, I think one scene or something like that. But you always take those jobs. Whatever happens, it doesn't matter how small the parts are in film. You always take films. TV might be different. You might go, well, that's not enough for me. But something like a big Disney film, you're definitely going to want to have that on your CV, because it helps for the future as well.
Is there a difference working on both TV and film?
Film takes longer. It takes longer to film a scene, whereas TV, there's a bigger turnaround, a quicker turnaround. Sorry, there's not much difference really. The difference is with a film, there's more shots being taken from different angles, and you might only get like 20 seconds done in a day, whereas with TV they might do 20 minutes. So it's really the timing is different.
Yeah, because I can see that now. It's like, okay, Disney. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, back to Graham.
Quick one for you. A wee hypothetical for you, Tim. If you had your own so-called time machine, and you could go back in time and basically have a guest starring role in something you watched in your youth, what would it be?
Wow.
Oh, I'd love to be Bodie in The Professionals.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. That I've worked with Sean Connery in James Bond. Been in Zulu.
Oh, Michael, there you go.
I would love to have been in Zulu.
Yeah.
That's my favourite film. That sort of thing. We're with Richard Burton, you know, Where Eagles Dare, something like that. That would be great.
There we go.
Yeah, sorry, just speaking off the top of my head there. I'd have to think about that one.
No bother, man. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, back to you, Philip.
Oh, good. Okay. What's your favourite genre of work when you have worked? Be it like sci-fi or straight, normal, like sci-fi, documentary, or old English things. You understand where I'm coming from. So.
Well, the great thing about being an actor is you're getting the opportunity to do lots of different things. I think if you are playing just one type of role, which a lot of actors do, it must get boring. I'd be lucky. I've played different sort of characters in different genres. So, I've worked on, for instance, a Norwegian sort of Nordic noir. Something like that. Which totally that's mad to be doing that. And then doing something like The Third Doctor, or then doing a play. That's what you want to do in a career. Well, that's what I certainly want to do, is do as much varied work as possible. Because I think I get, a lot of actors, when they, suddenly you need the money, might take a soap if it's offered to you. But and I probably would actually for the money, but you're playing the same part all the time. So it depends on what you want from your career, really. If you want to do that and just take the money, then fine. But if you want to have a varied career doing lots of different things, then you might have to wait around a bit, or you might have to just sort of take the hits.
Paid off in the long run if you wait around a bit, because the more varied work you've done, the more offers you'll get from the variations that you've got.
Well, it can work the other way, because people don't know how to put you in a box. Because people like to put someone in a box. Oh, he plays the baddie. He's the romantic person. He's the. So if you do the danger is that they can't put you in a box so much. I mean, mind you, having said that, I've spent most of the last 15 years playing coppers. So.
Well, just as well you won the Up Here, you'd be lumbered in an episode of Taggart for back in the day.
Taggart, yeah.
Yeah, typecasting can always be a problem, though, can it?
Yeah, it can. Yeah. It can get you more work. It's a double-edged sword, really.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky in the fact, I've looked back occasionally and said, wow, I've done that and I've done that, and that was totally different and this is totally different. So that's the good thing,
Okay, back to Elijah.
Being an actor, and I know, like you said, you'll take any job you can get. Well,
I did say that, but
what's your biggest piece of advice to people who want to take on the profession of acting? And let's say there may not be a role that that they would like to take, but maybe it could give them, a good opportunity. What kind of advice would you give to?
Well, I'd say, first thing I'd say is don't be an actor. Don't be stupid. Get a proper job. But then you'd say, well, if you want to do it, you've got to be prepared for the hardships. You've got to be prepared, especially when you're starting out. It's a very long haul, and most people, will have gone by the time they're 30. You know, in my drama school, I think there's only about 10 left of us out of 35 who are working. But yeah, it's tough. You just do anything. That's what I'd say is do any short film you can to get a show reel together. Do any play on the fringe to get seen. It's all about getting seen, you know. And that never stops, actually, as you get older. The minute you go out and you do something out of the country, for instance, or you do something away from London, you can get forgotten about by casting directors and people like that, you know. So it's always trying to get yourself seen is the best thing I'd say to all the biggest piece of advice I'd give to someone, especially someone starting out. I'd do anything.
Yeah, always keep that second career handy just in case.
Well, this is it, absolutely. I mean, because most, you know, a lot of actors, they have to spend time having a day job, and that just can drain you. And then you haven't got the motivation to sort of concentrate on acting, you know, because you have to pay the bills at the end of the day. So it's very tough. The best thing to do as well is if you get a job, you try and save as much as you can, save as much money as you can, have that away, so you don't have to work in a bloody office or something, or wait at tables and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, washing dishes, whatever you can get, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. If you want to stick in the business, you have to do all that stuff. You have to do that and realize it doesn't come over. You're very lucky if you suddenly get picked up by someone. If you're very handsome or something, or you know you've got something quirky about you, then you might be lucky and get there. But for 95% of actors, it's tough. Well, 99% actually. It's a long old haul, but you know it's not going down the mines, is it? So
it's one of the professions when you get involved and you've got to pay your dues, so to speak. I suppose you've got to get you sort of like earn your stripes, and go around the country doing small theatre shows, doing educational shows, doing anything, just to get stuff in your CV. Yeah, you need stuff before, because a lot of people don't take risks. A lot of producers won't take risks on people, so you just have to get all that work under your belt.
Mm-hmm. Okay, back to you, Matt.
Right. If we're doing two-part questions, here's two parts of what I'm going to do. First part, would you like to, since you've done Big Finish, would you like to come into Doctor Who itself on the TV series alongside Peter Capaldi?
Yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to, yeah. I have to talk to my agent about it.
The second part is you actually done a video game, I believe, Rice, Son of Rome. What was that experience like? Oh, that was fantastic. Again, that was a totally different experience, because that was motion capture with Andy Serkis in his studio. And that's an odd thing, because you've got this body stocking on with all these dots on, and this headset on, and you're pretending to be a Roman centurion. And it's really bizarre. And that's a totally different discipline as well. Yeah, that was great fun doing that. That was fantastic, especially seeing myself with massive guns, on the video. that was a buzz. And I had hair on it as well. I couldn't believe it.
Okay, back to you, Graham.
Obviously, young Elijah there mentioned to you earlier about Toast of London. Is comedy a genre that you'd like to explore a wee bit more?
Oh, yeah, God, yeah. I love comedy. I mean, I've done some on stage. Recently, I played Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream, and that was great fun. I'd love to do more comedy, if only. I really would. But again, that's a sort of almost a different division of the industry. There's the sort of drama aspect, and the comedy world is a different one. It's almost a different thing. So, you only really get into that if you're seen doing a comic role, really. I'd love to do more comedy. Really would.
Just a bolt onto that, I take it some of your favourite comedies back in the day with The Usual Suspects, Fawlty Towers and whatnot?
I love Fawlty Towers, Dad's Army, I loved. I mean, my favourite, Alan Partridge, I'm a big fan of. Massive fan of Alan Partridge. And The Office, I loved. But I haven't watched much telly recently. I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I've been watching sort of like series on Netflix.
Netflix is basically TV now, that counts,
Well, it is, but it's just like watching one box set, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been eating up Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy and things like that, and you know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No bad shouts there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix and chill. You gotta love it. You know, especially
I love it.
you got a lot of time on your hand. Okay, back to you, Philip.
Okay, considering you've known Matt Rose from the convention circuits, how do you feel about conventions, and are they good things?
I'm sorry, my phone went. So it went a bit funny. Then can you say the last bit again?
Go ahead.
So, what's your experiences with conventions? As you know, Matt Rose from conventions. How do you feel about conventions? And
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you went quiet, but I got you there. Yeah, conventions. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me. Okay. They're great. It's great meeting the fans. You know, and being up there with such people who are so enthusiastic about it, and it's great fun. I really enjoy them.
Okay.
Really enjoy them. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to one. If there's one over in America, send me over.
I'm
Pay for the
on it.
hotel.
Yeah.
The first time we talked, you were saying you'd love to live in New York and all that. So
Yeah. Love New York's my favourite city, I've got to say. I love New York. It's such great energy.
We're coming up on the 40-minute mark, so we're going to do one more round of questions, and I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll start again with Elijah.
You said that growing up, you said the Daleks were, they made you pretty scared. Well, which doctor was your doctor growing up?
Tom Baker, without a doubt. I used to love it. Absolutely love it. And K9, I just adore K9. When I was watching an episode and K9 came in, it was just bliss,
Okay, back to you, Matt.
Right, I was just looking. You've completed a project called Envy. What's that about?
I can't remember. Is it a short film I did?
It's a short film, it says, from 2013.
I think I've got a vague memory of it, but I can't remember, to be honest.
It's probably been released, Matt.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I remember something called MV. It was a short. I'd done a couple of shorts a few years ago. I can't recall it. Sorry.
That's okay. It happens to us all as we get older. Just ask my wife. Oh. Okay, back to you, Graham.
I'll just wrap up with a nice easy one for you, Tim. Obviously, you mentioned Tom Baker was your doctor back in the day.
Yeah.
They've not been wrong yet. We've had 13 incredible actors in this role, 13 and a half, including yourself, mate. Going forward in the future, is there anybody you would like to see in the role of the Doctor?
Ooh, good question.
I can't think of that. You caught me there.
Yourself?
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know. That's such a hard question. Steve Coogan.
Really? Seriously?
You caught me out there. I'd have to have a think about that.
Well, feel another couple and come back if you want, mate. If you can't find them, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm going for Tom Ellis myself,
Ooh.
Okay, you next. Go ahead, Philip.
It's not so much a question; it's a request. I know it's a bit rude, but could you just do a bit of John Pertwee for me?
Oh God! I just go Captain Atlantic, please, I'll tell it. From the I can't. It'd take me ages to. I know. Give me something to say.
Also, I don't need the union barking down.
If you give me something to say, I'll try and think. I'm going to say something.
Go for the classic reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. There you go.
Yeah.
Reverse the polarity. No, I can't. It takes me ages to get reverse the polarity and then. There's the polarity and neutron. No, I can't. It takes me ages to get into it. If you asked me a couple of weeks ago when I was doing it, I had the voice completely, but it takes me a while to work on it to get it right.
That's cool. You made my day, but thank you very much. You made my day.
Well, a wee bit of wazzle gummit, that'll do. You stop being.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to really, really thank you, Tim, for coming on and answering our questions and whatnot. It was a pleasure having you on again.
It's a pleasure being on. Thank you very much.
And, good luck to the Dragons tomorrow night, big man.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, it would be amazing, wouldn't it? But we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Can't stand Portugal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get some parting shots in since Grant. Here, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, thank you, Tim, for coming on. It's always a pleasure to see you, and hope to see you again sometime.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, Matt. Cheers.
Okay, Elijah.
Thanks for coming on, Tim. Great.
Oh, I've gone dead again.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, got it. Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Great to talk to you, and hopefully we can get you in America for a convention sometime.
Great to talk to you as well. Thank you, Elijah. Cheers.
Elijah may be able to help you out there.
Okay, go ahead, Philip.
Tim, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed speaking to you for the first time, and I look forward to great things from you in future.
Oh, thank you very much. Very lovely talking to you as well.
You crawler.
And for everybody out there watching or listening, keep looking out for Tim Treloar, because when I did my research on it, it's like you seem like you're a little bit everywhere. You're one of them actors who just pops up almost everywhere, but it's for some reason we never hear about you. I don't know why. It's
That's like most of us, though. You've not heard of most of us. It's only the 5% you hear of. So the rest of us, just doing our stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers now. All the best.
Thanks, man. Cheers, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.